got back from shopping, and do you want to see what I bought? Wow. Some peppers, some onions, and do you notice the bags? I made some produce bags, so we're not using all of these. Most of us have gotten into using our shopping bags, but we're still using produce bags. Let's get rid of them. And let's make our own bags, which are reusable, they're washable, and they work like a hot damn. So let's talk about fabric first. You have different choices, and when I went looking for what I was going to use for the produce bags, I came up with some different options. This is actually a nylon with a lot of spandex in it, so it has a lot of stretch. And it is very, very strong. This bag is also made from a nylon material, and it's a diamond mesh. Now don't confuse this with the tulle you get for wrapping up the little mints for weddings and things like that, because that is not strong. If you pulled it, it would break. This particular diamond mesh, you can see the little diamond shapes in it. When you pull on this, there's no way that I can break that, and that's what you're looking for. The third fabric is actually polyester material. This material is the type of material that you would find probably in clothing as basically just for breathability. And you'll find that in your fabric store as well. So I thought all three make really good choices for produce bags. So stay with me and we'll show you how to do each version of the bag. You choose the fabric that you like and let's get started. Let's sew our first bag with the diamond meshing. And this will be the drawstring demonstration for you. These bags, there's no seam on the bottom. And we'll have left over for making lots more bags. You'll get quite a few bags out of 1 meter. So now we have 2 pieces cut, so we can make 2 bags of that size. That's approximately 1 inch. Doesn't have to be perfect. These are just produce bags. We're not looking for perfection. We're going to be throwing vegetables in here. So we've done this side. Do exactly the same. We fold it in this way, so make sure you're folding in on the same side. So here's the fold in on both sides. We're going to take that, so those fold ins are on the outside, so just flip it around and make it so our folds are sitting on the outside. And I'm just going to mark where my fold comes to the bottom and do that on the other side as well. That is going to be where we sew up to. And so now we're ready for the sewing machine, starting from our marking and go all the way down. I have an old Husqvarna S250 machine. The stitch I'm going to be using is this stitch right here, which some people use for putting in elastic or sewing over elastic. Again, it's what I have for a stretch stitch. So I'm using this, and if you don't have this stitch, then use a zigzag. Or if you have a stretch stitch on your sewing machine, by all means use it. My settings for width is approximately at 3, for length is approximately at 1. Stitch looks like it's a little tiny bit more rounded than an actual zigzag, but on stretch fabrics it's giving me that option, so if I pull it, it's not going to break my stitches, so that's what you're after. And my fold is going to the outside, and my fold is to the outside. I'm going to match up my purple lines and my edges, and I'm going to start sewing on the purple line. I'm going to sew a 1/2 inch seams. I'll start and then back stitch to hold my stitch in place, and now carry on and stitch all the way down your edge. And when you get to your end, back stitch again. And clip your threads. And do the same on the other side. Now turn your bag right side out. Find the inside of your seam, pin it in place if you like. So we're going to come down, open up that whole ironed seam, same width as your seam allowance. We're going to come in and we're going to sew that down. Again, back stitch at the top and sew down. And we're going to sew down to where it's just past your opening here. Just past your purple line. Pivot. Bring that other edge over your 1/2 inch, same as your seam allowance. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go back and forth a bit with our foot just to reinforce that. It's a good place where it's going to be a pressure point for your bag. So just a bit of reinforcing there is great. Now we're going to come up the other side, opening up your seam, and sew up the other side. And back stitch. Trim off your threads. And now that you've finished reinforcing, going down across your bottom of your opening, up the other side, come back in and fold over your original 1/2 inch that you ironed and bring it back down to where it meets your top of your seam. We'll now come in and sew that down with our stretch stitch or a zigzag, whatever stitch you've got. Again, back stitch, and away you go. And now that you've got that previously ironed, you're gonna be happy that you did that, because now it's so much easier to sew. And again, back stitch at the end. And you don't have to take your thread or break your thread all the way. You can just come back to your next side and start sewing from here. Bring your needle down and start sewing your next side. Again, back stitch and sew along and sew all the way to the other end. And when you get close to the other end, again, fold under your 1/2 inch and bring that edge to your purple line and continue sewing. and again back stitch at the end. And there you have a little bit of a decorative stitch that also acts as a bit of a stretch stitch. And now we're ready to add our string or ribbon or cording. For this bag I'm going to use it's just cotton cording. So we're going to just take our cord, fold it in half, bring it to the edge, and we're just going to make it so it's about 5 inches, let's go 5 inches longer than our actual bag, and cut that off. Now that you've got that length, you'll want to take another one and cut it at the same length, and take your safety pin, stick it into the cord. And now that you've made your casing, you're just going to insert your safety pin into the casing, push it all the way through, and then into the other side. And then just pull it so your cords are even on both ends. Take your safety pin out. I'm going to make a knot on the end of each end, just a basic knot. Now take them both together, tie them together. I'm going to tie this knot about 1 inch down from the end, not right at the top of the bag, because you want to be able to have the bag still have the flexibility of the stretch. And again, thread your needle, thread your safety pin through the cording so it catches. This time you want the raw edges to come out this side. So we'll start on this end and work our way around. Again, take out your safety pin, tie your knots, and tie them both together about 1 inch from your knotted ends. And find your 2 knotted ends and pull it, and you now have your drawstring bag. And now we're going to show you how to sew the bag using the toggle. And this time we're going to be folding this way, and we'll be sewing along the bottom edge and up the side, and this will be our opening. And so just like the first bag, we're going to come and we're going to turn under 1/2 inch and press your seam all the way along. And now come back over and we're going to press approximately 1 inch. Now these measurements, they don't have to be exact. All this is a casing, and the same with the size of your bags. Make different size bags. They don't have to all be the same size. This is just what I've chosen to do. You can do absolutely any size you want. Different sizes for different vegetables. And again, I'm going to mark just below my fold. So I have a sewing line, a sewing guide. You're going to take your fabric and we're going to fold so your folded edges to the outside. Match up your purple line, your purple marking, and you can pin in place. And now back to the machine, and we'll start sewing from here, and we'll sew the 1/2 inch seam allowance down the side and down the bottom. And you've opened up the place where you've ironed it, that's opened up, and you're sewing right to the end. Now we've got our bottom and our side sewn, and now we just need to sew up our casing. So just where we had it ironed previously, bring that back down your 1/2 inch and fold it down to your 1 inch so it meets with your purple line or the opening. And we'll sew our casing now. And when you get to the end, you're folding over again your 1/2 inch and over to the inch, matching up with your other side, and finish off your seam. I'm using a poly knit cord this time for my drawstring. Fold it in half and cut past about 5 inches. Take your cord again and your safety pin and thread it through your opening and all the way around. And remove the safety pin. And with this particular cord, to prevent it from unraveling, this particular one, you can actually melt the ends with a lighter and then squeeze it with pliers, and you'll have a nice solid end that will never unravel. So do be careful with this, but I'm going to use my lighter, burn the end quite a bit till it's on flame. Take your pliers and just squish your ends together. Now you've got a nice point that will never unravel. And now we have 2 ends that we can actually put easily into our toggle. To use the toggle, this particular one, press down on the top. That will form the circle into the middle. And now you can thread your 2 pieces of cording through that hole and out the other side, pressing in to move the cord. And now you have your toggled bag. And just so you don't lose your toggle, I'm going to place just a basic knot and tie those 2 cords together closer to the end. And then when your toggle comes down to the end, you're not going to lose your toggle. And now you know how to make a drawstring bag, and you now know how to make a toggled bag.